All right, let's jump right into our comprehensive roadmap for renewing your Kansas Notary Public Commission. Whether you're coming up on the end of your very first term or you're a totally seasoned veteran of the notary block, staying compliant is absolutely essential.
Wondering how to seamlessly renew your notary commission in Kansas and continue serving your clients without a hitch? Well, stay tuned as we unravel every step you need to take. We're going to make this entire process incredibly clear and completely stress-free, so you can get right back to doing what you do best.
Here's a quick look at our agenda for this explainer. We'll be covering introduction and eligibility, the timeline and costs, the application process itself, some important updates you need to know about, common mistakes to avoid, and then we'll wrap the whole thing up with resources and a quick disclaimer.
Starting us off, Section 1, Introduction and Eligibility.
So why does all this matter? Well, as a Kansas notary, you provide an essential service for legal, financial, and real estate transactions in your community. Failing to renew on time doesn't just mean dealing with a little extra paperwork. It means a total lapse in your authority. The very moment your commission expires, your ability to legally perform any notarial acts in Kansas just completely halts. And if you accidentally notarize a document with an expired commission, you're looking at some serious legal and financial liabilities. Those are the stakes we're dealing with, which is exactly why proactive renewal is going to be your best friend.
Now, what's really interesting here is that the state of Kansas treats your renewal as a full reappointment. So, unfortunately, there's no short-form extension. You have to continuously satisfy the basic statutory requirements. You've got to be at least 18, a U.S. citizen or permanent legal resident, and be able to read and write English. You also need to be a Kansas resident, though. Hey, if you live in a border-in state like Missouri or Nebraska, but you regularly work in Kansas, you still qualify. And finally, you absolutely must have a clean record, so no felony or fraud convictions and no revoked professional licenses.
Moving right along to Section 2, Timeline and Costs.
When we look at the timeline, 90 days before your current commission expires is the absolute magic number. The Kansas Secretary of State allows you to kick off the renewal process exactly 3 months out. And honestly, doing it then is the ultimate best practice to completely avoid a lapse in your authority. Gathering your supplies, your new bond and stamp, can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks depending on the vendor. Once you actually submit your application, the state typically processes it in about 3 to 5 business days. But seriously, don't wait until the last minute.
So what is this all going to cost? Well, the costs are basically split between a fixed state fee and variable supply costs. The mandatory application filing fee to the Secretary of State is a flat $25. From there, you're legally required to purchase a $12,000 surety bond, which usually runs somewhere between $50 and $100. You'll also need a new stamp and, ideally, a brand new journal if your old one is full. So altogether, you should probably budget between $110 and $230 for your next 4 years of service. Remember, you can very often find cost-effective packages from authorized vendors that bundle the bond, stamp, and journal all together.
Let's dive into Section 3, the application process. The actual workflow is broken down into 4 highly logical phases. First things first, you must purchase that $12,000 4-year surety bond and your new stamp before you even apply. Why? Because you actually need them in hand for the application itself. Second, you'll complete the Notary Public Appointment Form. Most people just call it Form NO. Third, you'll take your official oath of office. And finally, you just submit the whole package and pay your fee. It's super straightforward as long as you follow the specific rules for each step.
Now, please pay super close attention here because this formatting is crucial. When you order your new stamp, the name on it must match the name on your application identically. Literally, no exceptions. It also has to clearly state Notary Public and State of Kansas. And here's a major trip-up that catches a lot of people. Your stamp must never ever include a county name. Why is that? Because Kansas notaries have statewide jurisdiction. If you have mismatched names or you accidentally add a county, it will cause an immediate rejection of your application, which is a massive headache that just slows down your entire timeline.
Okay, once you have your stamp and bond in hand, it's time for Step 3. The oath of office. Now, you literally cannot notarize your own application. You have to take this oath in front of another active Kansas notary. You'll verbally swear or affirm that you'll faithfully discharge your duties. Then, that officiating notary is going to complete Section B of your Form NO. There is one vital detail here. Your application requires a wet ink signature. Yes, even if you get this oath notarized remotely, you still have to provide a physical, wet ink signature for the state's official records.
For Step 4, the actual submission, you've got a choice, online or mail. Honestly, we strongly suggest using the online portal.
It's hands down the fastest method. You simply create an account on the Kansas Secretary of State website, upload images of your completed Form NO, your bond, and your stamp impression, and then just pay the $25 with a credit card. If you're old school and prefer mail, you'll send the original physical documents and a check to Topeka. But just keep in mind the online system offers much easier tracking of your application status.
All right, let's look at Section 4, Important Updates. The entire profession is rapidly modernizing, and Kansas now officially allows remote online notarization, or RON for short. This is pretty cool. It lets you perform digital notarizations via webcam for people located entirely remotely. But here's the catch. When it comes to renewals, you have to secure your active, traditional, paper-based commission first. You cannot apply for both at the exact same time. Once your traditional commission is fully renewed and active, you can then take a state-approved RON training course, pass a quick exam, and submit Form NC with a $20 fee to add this awesome digital capability to your tool belt.
Next up is Section 5, Common Mistakes.
Let's really hammer home this point about loss aversion. Just because you get your brand new certificate in the mail doesn't necessarily mean you can instantly start stamping. Please, whatever you do, do not jump the gun. You must never perform notarizations with your new stamp before your new active date officially arrives. You are quite literally not legally authorized to work until the Secretary of State's online database explicitly lists your status as active with your new expiration date. Always, always verify your status online before taking that very first appointment of your new term.
And here are a few other totally avoidable pitfalls to watch out for. Record keeping is huge. Kansas law actually requires you to retain your notary journal for 10 years after the very last notarial act chronicled in that specific journal. So whatever you do, don't throw them away. Second, never accidentally use your old stamp with an outdated expiration date once your new term starts. Third, if your journal or stamp is ever lost or stolen, you have to report it immediately to the Secretary of State using Form NC. And finally, you absolutely must maintain that $12,000 surety bond for the entire 4 years. If it lapses, your commission is instantly suspended.
Wrapping things up with Section 6, Resources and Conclusion.
You absolutely don't have to navigate this whole process alone. The absolute best resource out there is the official Kansas Secretary of State website at sos.ks.gov. That's exactly where you'll find the official online portal, your Form NO, and the free Kansas Notary Public Handbook, which, by the way, is definitely required reading. For your supplies, your bonds, and any voluntary educational courses, highly credible organizations like the National Notary Association and the American Association of Notaries offer some really fantastic, cost-effective renewal packages that just bundle everything you need into one go. To kind of summarize our journey through this explainer today, just keep this thought in mind. A timely and accurate renewal guarantees continuous service, protects your community, and secures your professional authority. Completing this process diligently isn't just a bunch of bureaucratic red tape. It's the very foundation that allows you to serve the Kansas public efficiently, safely, and most importantly, legally.
And of course, a quick professional disclaimer before you go. While this explainer provides detailed, step-by-step guidance derived from current source materials, state laws and administrative rules can and do update. Because of that, you should always check with official Kansas state resources or consult a legal professional for personalized advice regarding your specific commission. At the end of the day, you bear the ultimate responsibility for your compliance.
So we've walked through the eligibility requirements, the ideal timeline, all the costs, the application workflow itself, and those common pitfalls you definitely want to avoid. With all your tools gathered and your timeline clearly mapped out, are you ready to confidently secure your next 4 years as a Kansas notary? Start that 90-day countdown, get your bond and stamp ordered, and step right into your next term with total confidence. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy notarizing!